Your job as a parent, after you have disciplined your child, for lack of a better word, is to still embrace them. They're still your child. Nothing has changed. It's just your child who did something stupid. They received the consequence of that thing, but they're still your child. Pull them closer. Nothing has changed about them. They're not the enemy. If you can grasp this, this is going to help you in marriage, because when you get married, a lot of time you're going to have conflict with your wife. You're going to have conflict with your husband. And both of you are going to do something to upset each other. And the last thing you want to do is turn around and ignore each other for days on end and treat each other like enemies. This breaks down your marriage. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Guys, thank you so much for watching my video today. Guys, do remember to leave a like, comment, and sub. I just recently hit that 500 subscriber mark. We're trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark so I can become a YouTube partner. I'd really appreciate your sub today. Let's check out today's video, guys.
But parents, listen closely. Even when you have to discipline for sinful behavior, you do it not to make your child pay, but to rescue them from sin.
Okay.
This will change the game if some of you can get
I like that.
That discipline is never meant to be punitive. It's always meant to be restorative.
That's right. Yeah, I agree with that.
We don't discipline our kids just to teach them something. But why do we discipline? Because we understand that their flourishing is at stake. That as we bring them up in the instruction of the Lord, when they rebel against it, they are putting themselves in a very, very dangerous place. We know if they don't do life God's way, they will not be free and they will not be flourished. And so discipline is about you rescuing them from that.
That's right.
It's about you doing what you need to do to bring them back to a place of blessing so that their life is now realigned with how things are meant to work so that they might flourish once again.
I struggle with this one a lot, not for myself. I did have this specific type of discipline when I was a kid. What am I talking about? So basically, discipline when I was growing up was punishment. Everything we did was to be punished. There was no parenting behind the punishment. It was just, you've done this, I'm very angry, so I'm going to beat you to a pulp. That's the kind of discipline that I grew up with. So when I grew up, I don't, just like marriage, guys, I saw DV, I saw all sorts of, cheating and all that stuff, but that didn't put me off marriage. I wanted to get married, but I wanted to do it properly. I've always seen what people did as a young person, and I've always deemed those things as wrong in my moral mind at the time. We're talking about 14-year-old guys. So this is the same for discipline. I always saw what discipline was. I received, guys, I've had the worst type of discipline in my lifetime as a child. If I mention some of them here, I would, YouTube will probably ban the video. But having gone through those things, it didn't put me off discipline, because I believe discipline is necessary for any child. For example, I would change a few things about how I was disciplined, but overall, I think the discipline I received made me the man I am today, with my head screwed on and not going towards certain type of things that my fellow people who I grew up with, who didn't have the same type of living, started doing, and ended up in a very bad place. And I think that's all due to discipline, to be honest. But basically what he's talking about here is something that I see happening around me even now. So when I raise my children, I've done my best to make sure that I don't repeat history. I've done my best to make sure that I don't discipline my kids the way I was disciplined. Basically, there's something that happens when you are really angry with your children, especially if you have a good relationship with them. The look you give them is painful enough. The look of disappointment is painful enough. But if you take that further and you become punitive with your discipline, rather than showing penalty. So when I say penalty, I mean your child needs to know that they can't do everything, right? That everything has a consequence. If you put your hand in fire, it's gonna burn you. That fire burning you is not punishment, it's a consequence of your action. So your child needs to be able to compute that if I go to Sainsbury's and I steal something, this can result in a consequence. And on the other side, if I do good, for example, my eldest son is trying to become he's trying to get big, basically, he's trying to become muscly. So he knows from the way he was raised that if he puts in work, if he decides to do a bunch of push-ups today, pull-ups today, he's going to gain something positive. He's going to get some muscle. So that is the kind of way that I've tried to raise my children, which is that if you do bad, there will be consequence. And if you do good, you will get you get something positive out of it, which I think is a much better way to raise children, right? I don't think anything should be punitive. Like, you shouldn't punish your children and derive pleasure in it. Like, a lot of times people are so angry with their children and they just want something to happen. You just want something to happen to them. And I think this in itself is not the way. Also, I don't believe in losing control. Like, when your child has done something wrong, the last thing you want to do is lose control. And this can be shown in various ways. For ladies, is screaming the house down, like up and down, screaming, and maybe can go on for a week. Like, you never ever let it go. Like, you're just shouting about it, nagging about it, on and on and on. This reduces the self-esteem of your child. But if it's a consequence-driven action, it means that your child goes through something that was caused by their action. And when that thing's finished, it's finished. It's just like us as Christians. When we sin, we may get the consequence if there is a physical consequence for that sin. But when we ask God for forgiveness, that's the end of it. You're not reminded that, oh, you're a sinner. Oh, you did that yesterday. That's the job of the devil. The devil does that. He's the one who goes, look at you, you're worthless because look at what you did. Look at you, God's not going to be happy with you because look at what you did. That's the devil's job. Your job as a parent, after you have disciplined your child, for lack of a better word, is to still embrace them. They're still your child. Nothing has changed. It's just your child who did something stupid. They received the consequence of that thing, but they're still your child. Pull them closer. Nothing has changed about them. They're not the enemy. If you can grasp this, this is going to help you in marriage, because when you get married, a lot of time you're going to have conflict with your wife. You're going to have conflict with your husband, and both of you are going to do something to upset each other. And the last thing you want to do is turn around and ignore each other for days on end and treat each other like enemy. This breaks down your marriage. I've seen marriages where, and I've done this as well, and it wasn't good. You're so upset with each other that you just ignore each other for days on end. And every time you look at each other, you look at each other with disdain. This slowly crumbles your marriage to the point where you can survive without each other for weeks. And eventually that can turn into a distance and a split. So if you can get to a point where you're just like, look, we've done something wrong to each other, apologize to each other, get it sorted, and then never bring it up again. You've buried it. It's done. This will help your marriage so much, guys. It's amazing. I think it's necessary, especially in the church, that parents learn how to parent. I found it really interesting when I started going outside of the church and I started working in certain sectors that there were parenting classes. There are places you can go to learn how to parent. A lot of the things they teach you may not be applicable to your culture, and I think it's necessary that you parent with your culture in mind. But there are skills in those classes that are just life-changing, I think. And I think as Christians, the same way I'm pushing, making sure you study to show yourself approved around preparing for marriage, I think we should show ourselves to study to show ourselves approved regarding raising children, because this is life. And whatever you get wrong, that child will suffer from in their adult life. So I think it's necessary that we learn how to parent. If you're a young person planning to get married, learn how to parent. Learn a lot of the parenting skills that I learned was not just from what I received from people that parented me, but also I had the chance to, I was talking about another video previously where a young man was talking about young people should know how important their teen years is, because you're not as young as you think you are. You shouldn't be telling a 20-year-old that he's still a kid. I learned a lot of my paternal or parental skills when I was in my teens, because I was looking after younger children than me. I had taught in schools, I had spoken to 8-year-olds, and I'm like 14. So, those kind of things kind of teach you how to be parental or paternal. Regardless, guys, learn what it means to be a parent, learn how to raise a child properly, learn what your words do to their psyche, learn what your body language do to them, learn what it means to encourage them, learn what it means to love them, learn what it means to put them in situation where they can, like, where you push them to grow. Like, all these things are all necessary. It's not just about when they do something bad, then you just shout and scream and you punish them. That's never been good. That's never been a good way to parent. Anyway, guys, what do you guys think of this video? What do you guys think of my thoughts on this video? Do you agree with him? Do you believe in the fact that we shouldn't be punitive with our children? Or do you think actually, you know, punishing your children for what they did wrong is the best way to go? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Remember, guys, I do have a reaction channel. I'll put it on the screen right now. Please go over there. I react to trailers, movies, anime, all other shenanigans over there. Please go over there, give me a like, comment, and sub. And guys, I have a channel where I do reactions with my children. Go over there and give us a like, comment, and sub. I'll put it on the screen right now. Please go over there and give us a like, comment, and subscribe over there. My kids are running that channel, so would appreciate you guys if you watch our videos. I'll see you guys in my next video.